Welcome to Global Insiders Podcast. I am Ryan, the peripatetic one, bringing you information about opportunities relating to jobs, traveling, and any information that can elevate you to your rightful place in this thing called life. You can find more information and how-to methods on globalinsidersgroup.com. That is insiders with an S. And here is today's show. Welcome, insiders. In the previous episode, we spoke about going after the things you want by setting goals. Well, today I have Laferne Powell with me, and she will be telling us how she went about achieving a very special goal. Laferne, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ryan.
Today I want us to I want you to talk about Canada. And how long have you been living in Canada?
Well, Canada is cold. That's my only word to describe it right now. I've been here 5 years, actually. This is my anniversary month. So the 12th of this month makes it 5 years I've been here. And it's been a good 5 years.
Oh, wow, 5 years. Congratulations on this being your anniversary month. So you applied for university. You went to Canada for university. Please tell me a bit about that. What did you apply for, and how did you go about doing it?
So I did come up for university. Well, that was one of my goals, but it was so much more than that. But at first I just came up on a TRV, that's a temporary residence visa, and then I applied to college first. So I applied to college, I did a postgraduate diploma, and then now I'm actually applying to university to complete master's studies. It wasn't hard. The goal is just to know what you want to do, and then you take it from there. I find here applying to college and university is way much easier than it was in Jamaica, because if, let's say, you have your top 5 schools that you want to go to, all the application goes to one place. You don't need to apply to every school individually. You apply to one central location and they distribute your application for you. So the process was pretty good. It's just to read, take note of your deadline, and to take note of the documents they ask for, and ensure that before you start the process, you have everything ready.
Well, you just shared a lot of information there. First of all, what exactly is the TRV? If you could speak just a little bit more on that, and then I'll ask about the other things that you mentioned, because you gave us so much information there.
Okay, so your TRV, it's just a temporary resident visa. I'm not sure how everyone would like to do it, but even though my main aim was going to school when I came here, I still came up on a visitor's visa. And then from having my visitor's visa, I then applied for my study permit and work permit. But a lot of people don't understand that with your visitor's visa, you are still eligible for a lot of things because it's called a temporary resident visa. So in order to know your eligibility, what you have to do is check CIC, which is Canadian Immigration website, and you just Google it and it comes up, and you can just check on the list the things that you can do with that kind of visa. More likely also, when you apply for a student visa, that visa will then become invalid because you're no longer here as a visitor but now a student. So it's good though to check what you want before you come here. So you can still come up on your visitor's visa and do the process from here, or you can stay outside the country and do the process from there. I found it easier to come here and do everything here because it's just here at your fingertip. I knew what I wanted, and so I got all my necessary documents before I came, and then I started the process.
Okay, so I'm hearing you say the necessary documents. You need to know and have the necessary documents prepared. Could you list a few of those necessary documents, especially the ones that are might be a bit difficult to get or might take some time to get?
Sure. So to start, you're definitely going to need your birth certificate, and they only accept the new ones. So the most updated version of birth certificate, that's the one you'll need. You'll need all your school certificates. So starting from high school. So if you did first to fifth form, you will have one high school diploma for that. And also you'll have your CXCs or whatever studies you did in high school, you'll have a separate certificate for that. You need the original. And then if you did sixth form, you will also get a second diploma or a second certificate. You will need that along with the studies that you did. So if you did A level or O level, whichever one it was, you need that certification. You also need, if you're married, marriage certificate. If you're divorced, you'll need that. Just every document to say this is what my life has been. Everything you've ever achieved, you bring it with you. And oh, you also need to do a background check. I found if it's the first time you're doing a background check, it will take up to 6 months. So I did it prior to coming here. Though they don't want the background check from you, they want it from the institution, the constabulary force. If you prepare beforehand, let's say 8 months before coming here, you get a background check done, that's good because they would take 6 months to do it. However, when you request a second one, it's now 4 weeks. So it takes a shorter time getting the second one than the first one. So just get the first one out of the way. I know a lot of persons are concerned that they have to pay twice, but look at it this way. 6 months, waiting 6 months versus waiting 2 months. So that was the other thing. What other certificate? Those are all the ones I can remember right now. Oh, and your immunization card, very important. They need that too. But you will need all your originals. Just adding to that, sometimes we apply for school and we think that a particular certificate is not important because it's not along the same path. So let's say you did a food and nutrition certificate, but now you're applying for, I don't know, to study mathematics. Also still include that because they use a point system. So every certificate that you have done before, everything that's educational, it adds up. So don't think that because you did prior studies, which is not linked to the future studies that you want to do, you won't include it. Every certificate that you have ever received, put it on your application and also bring the original. You need it. It's really good.
That sounds like a very comprehensive list. So you're saying that even if you have a university degree from your home country, they still want to see your high school results? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they still want it. Because when you're filling the application out, it will ask you to list all the schools that you have been to. So you would then need to provide the information from all the schools you have been to. It's not just about university and the pre-requirements. They want to know that you have completed high school. I know it might sound stupid because naturally you would have to finish high school to go to university, right? But they need all that. So once they ask you for it on your application, you then need to provide the physical evidence to say, yes, I did it, and here it is.
So was this information difficult for you to dig up, or was it a case where you just looked in your files and you found your old results, or did you have to go back to your high school and ask for this information?
No, for me, it was pretty easy because I just, like you said, I went back in my files and I usually try to keep a good record system. So I have like a mini filing system in my study desk where I have all my certificates one place. So whenever I need it, I just pop in there and get it, and that's it. There was actually nothing much that I needed to dig up per se. My mom was also good with my immunization and just having everything there for me. So this getting the documents for me, it was pretty easy.
So we can see that it pays to be organized. Wonderful. So what was your initial search like when you started to search for schools and so forth? How did you go about doing that? Did you do it over the internet or were you listening to friends? Was it a word of mouth type of thing?
No, I just did it over the internet. So I just Googled like the top 10 schools, and then because I knew the program I wanted, right? I looked for the top 10 schools and then I looked at their program list and just details about the program that they offer. Like they'll tell you what they do per semester. You look at that and see if that's what you want, and then you just apply. Also, what I did in addition was to look at reviews. My thing is, if they have a rotten review, let's say over 70% of the time, or even over 60% of the time, then something must be wrong. So I check the internet. It's a big part of my search, just finding the list of schools and also checking the reviews because I want to know from other people's experience of the program before I actually do it.
Okay, that sounds like you're using great wisdom there. And earlier you mentioned that you just send in one application to one place. It's like I'm not sure how does that work? Is it a case where you're sending it to one of the colleges and then they send your information to the other colleges, or is it a case where you send it to a central location and then they disperse it to all the colleges that you applied for?
Ryan, it's the latter. You send it to a central location, but location as in everything is done online. So you apply through Ontario University Application Center. We just call it OAC or OUAC, and you go through it and they have a list of all the schools. If you're doing master's studies, if you're doing undergraduate studies, they just have a list of all the schools there. You choose the school you want to go to and you choose the program and you fill out the application, and they give you first choice and second choice. So wait, for university they'll give you, I think, two choices. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. And for colleges they'll give you five choices. So it's one application because all the schools require the same thing. They sort through your application, ensure that you have all the supporting documents. You pay the money just to them. After you have paid the money to them, then they send now your information to the universities. So usually after you fill out your application with OAC, they'll send it to the schools and then the school will contact you in, like, I would love to say 2 to 3 business days because that's how long it took them to contact me. And they will ask you for any additional information that you need, which most times it's minimal. It's just to upload your official transcripts. That's one of the thing too. So they will not take unofficial transcript from you. It's totally unacceptable. However, they will also not take an official transcript in the mail. So you have to get your official transcript and upload it to the website. So I strayed a little bit, but back to the main question, yes. It's just one center. You make your application there, you pay your fees there, and then they distribute it. So you don't have to worry about going to the top 5 schools that you want to apply for.
Wow, thank you for that clarification. So, uh, the process, how long did it take? Maybe I'm assuming almost 8 months or 10 months, something like that.
All right, not so long. think I said earlier 6 to 8 weeks. Think, let's just say 3 months maximum. But I believe it was done within 8 weeks.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. So, I mean, a venture like this definitely costs. So, how much side or how much should someone put aside to apply for the visa and apply for school?
Aside money for school now, it all depends on your program. So for me, when I applied for college, it was pretty expensive. I also did not work during the time because I just wanted to focus on my study, and I wanted to do my diploma in 1 year. So I did it in 1 year instead of the 3 years. I would say if you're going to college, put aside at least $30,000 for everything, which will include your tuition, and this is 30,000 Canadian. So this is going to include your tuition, your living expenses, your books, your travel. Just put it aside, and it's better to have too much than too little. Also, you have to take in consideration that things and time changes, right? So what I paid last year might not be what you're going to pay next year. I find that prices will go up sometimes, and funny enough, it also goes down. But always just look to know that it might go up in most cases. Other advice is, even when applying to the school, some schools, not all of them, they will have a comprehensive list of how much a student can expect to spend every year or throughout the period of the course. Look on that list and try to budget within it. So try not to go over and just use it as a guide that, okay, this is how much I need. And I find the colleges here and the universities, they're very detailed in providing you with every bit of information.
Once again, incredible information. So, I'm assuming that this whole process of moving to a foreign country and studying must have been challenging. What were the major challenges you faced? And how can others avoid these challenges?
The major challenge I faced, there's no way to avoid it. And this was the culture shock I was not prepared to experience. Um, Coming from a tropical country to a cold country, the weather you can adjust to. You just need to dress warm, and that's fine. Eventually, your body will adjust. But the culture is different. I mean, it's simple things that you didn't think were things, just it's different. That's all I can say. And I'm gonna say simple things like just walking on the street and saying good morning, or going to the bus stop and saying good morning, or walking into an organization and saying good morning, and everyone will look at you strange, like, why are you speaking to me? It's not a thing. Even when I go to work here and you walk in and you say good morning and no one will answer. And then as soon as they need something, they'll come to you to say, hey, can you? And you're going to be like, did I not just tell you good morning and you didn't reply, but now you see the need to speak to me? Maybe I'm just, I don't know, edgy about small things like that. But yeah, it was mainly the culture and adjusting to a different way of life for me, which I even think wasn't that hard because I live with family. But yeah, that was my major thing.
That is so funny. But yes, I mean, that is how it is in foreign countries. I can identify with that, to be honest with you, I can. So, Laferne, if a friend said, I am moving to Canada to study next month, what would you say to that friend?
Having given that friend all the information I just gave you, I would say dress warm and good luck. But set goals and just be prepared to work twice as hard to achieve them. It's not hard. You just need to set your mind to it. Ask ask questions and seek clarification. Like, come here, go to school. It's really good. like I would encourage anyone to do it. I wish all my friends would come and we all go to school and just achieve our goals right here.
Awesome. I really love that answer. Now, um, how can people reach you on social media? Because we have come to the end of the show. And just in case someone was listening and they need some clarification or something like that, how can people reach you?
You can find me on Facebook. You just search my full name and country, Canada. Or you can send me an email at nrafal@yahoo.com, which is pretty easy. It's just my first name spelled backwards. So that's ENREFAL@yahoo.com. I'll be happy to help.
Well, Laferne, thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest and for sharing such wonderful and very important information with us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening today. I hope you are inspired. You can find more helpful and motivational material at globalinsidersgroup.com. That is, insiders with an S. You can also keep in touch at Global Insiders on Instagram. See you next time, but remember, you can be your own superhero. Bye.